Welcome back, everyone. Toyshiz here, and I'm back yet again to serve up yet another DC Multiverse video. And today we got a 2-for, right? So we got two large mega figures that were announced at the same time. But I'm very happy to be checking these out, to be honest with you. First and foremost, we have the ruler of Warworld, the dreaded Mongol. And he's this jaundiced Simpson-looking character right here. And on the opposite end, on the hero spectrum, we have Frankenstein. And if you're not familiar with Frankenstein, it's basically Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, but he exists in the DC universe. Makes sense, right? Mongol comes from Superman Villains, the comic book, and Frankenstein, the 7 Soldiers of Victory. Now, they took a little bit artistic leeway with Mongol. Frankenstein? Pretty much spot on to the source material. I'll give it to them all day. Now, here's the barcodes for Mongol and Frankenstein. They haven't started to hit store shelves just yet, and these ones came from the McFarlane store online. They actually shipped them out quite fast. I was impressed. Ordered them, and 2 days later, boom, at the door. So, this is going to be fun. Sit back, relax, grab yourself a nice hot cup of coffee. This is a look at the brand new DC Universe Mega Figures Mongol and Frankenstein from McFarlane Toys. And of course, once you undo a few large twisty ties and pull out the black plastic stand, don't forget the trading card, of course, you have 2 really large mega figures. Yeah, let's check them out, right? That's the whole purpose of this video. Frankenstein's up first. You do get an accessory with old Frankie, and largely, no pun intended, it's a pretty decent looking figure. The sword is really well done. It's a little bit curved. It got a little warp in the plastic packaging, but you can just heat it up and fix it. But nice silver paint, nice deco, nice sculpt to it. And then you have Frankenstein himself. Rather large, pieced together character, right? In pure Frankenstein fashion. His little vest piece looks like he's joined the Black Parade. And it's got some good yellows and reds within it. I really do like the wash that they applied to his Franken jeans, right? And his boots. Got a nice gray silver wash to it. Even the coat itself, nice wash. Really brings out all the folds. The back of the jacket is actually pretty rubbery plastic, which is nice. He even has some weapons storage. So if you want to go ahead and slip the sword in there, it stays really nicely. I like that they just added that. It's a nice touch. I'm glad that they did. It shows they're paying attention to the source material, which is always nice to see, and it's easily removable just like that. Now, you can see the arms. The skin is nice. The stitching is okay. The sculpt is there. I think they could have made it less muddled. It gets a little, like, sloppy there. You know what I mean? Just because a little painted better would have been nice. But overall, nice articulation. I think the main gripe for a lot of people are going to be, well, this is a $40 figure. I want it to be articulated to the 9s. And I partially agree with that. I'm one of those where I don't really care much for articulation as long as it does the necessary things. I think that in the case of Frankenstein, you do have bicep swivel, which is nice in the larger figure. You have single jointed elbows. Single joints in general don't bother me. They don't break up the sculpt that much. He has basically a hand swivel, not so much a hand rock. Nothing in the upper abdomen, but he does swivel at the waist, which is nice. No ab crunch. The legs will kick out. No thigh in the sense that he'll twist right at the thigh, but you can kind of get the legs to go out a little bit. And the rubberized diaper works for him. He does have double jointed knees, which work and look good. Nothing at the boot, but he's got his big old clodhopper feet. Frankenstein toe articulation with peg holes on the bottom. So like I said, overall, the articulation-wise works for me. But I do sympathize for those that say, well, a little bit more articulation would be acceptable. But I'm going to tell you, in posing him out, in standing him up, I would say my gripe with that some extra hands would be nice just to kind of differentiate it. Maybe an extra head sculpt or two, because for a larger figure, you don't really get that much, but Frankenstein at least comes with his sword. Now, moving into Mongol. Now, keep in mind, they did take some interesting choices art-wise with Mongol. He's never really worn this costume. However, in looking at what he's kind of worn recently, I really don't mind it all too much because this actually looks better in very many ways, minus the green gauntlets. We'll talk about that. Mongol himself, he's the big yellow guy, right? And they need to make him yellow. You need to see more of that yellow, craggy skin. He's got veins all over the yellow parts, which is just his bare skin. He's got all these different mechanical pieces, like on the back, which are really sculpted out nicely. They look great. Basically, all this armor on, even the green part on the front. He does have a really cool belt, nicely sculpted out. Rubber diaper, down to his purple leggings, and he's got some really cool space cowboy boots right there. A little bit of a wash on him, not too much. Could have used a little bit more, but brought out those details, peg holes on the bottom of his feet. To the gauntlets right here. Now, in certain aspects of comic appearances, they kind of mash things together. They just gave him green gauntlets, which they're not all that great. It kind of looks like he's got Green Lantern powers. It's just okay. He does have neck swivel, head articulation, all that jazz, and little parts right here are rubberized, so it doesn't really get in the way of moving him around. Nothing at the upper abdomen, but he will waist swivel, and you do get a lot of movement out of him, but not so much an ab crunch. And that kind of goes back to my saying of, well, he doesn't have biceps. He's got single jointed elbows, right? Again, the sculpt is there all day. The paint is there all day, but a little bit more articulation, or how I would prefer, extra hands, head portraits, something like that. The belt really helps break up the rubber diaper, right? Really splits it so it doesn't look too weird. You get the legs, the double jointed knees. His space cowboy boots have the ankle rock. Nothing at the actual boots, and then he has toe articulation as well. For this character, I really would have liked some extra hands. Don't get me wrong, some bicep swivel would have been ideal. He's kind of got like the whole Bane thing going on. The middle section, the ab crunch, I think of Mongol as just being a towering, massive mountain of a man that's going to crush Superman. The legs, the knees, everything works in that sense. The artistic liberties that they took, it works for me. It's not exactly my favorite, but it does help to stand out, and I actually do like the face sculpt a whole heck of a lot. He's got some rotten teeth in there, and as a Mongol should, yeah, he will tower over Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, just like, we'll say, the Justice League episode of For the Man Who Has Everything. If we had Robin in there, you get the idea. But he's a big, massive mamma jam of a figure, and I like the size that they went with, especially when looking at, let's say, for just the sake of having a different Superman in my videos, the Page Puncher's Superman with the really large hands. Kind of weird. If you wanted to go, let's say, NECA Toys' route, that actually looks really good too. From Green Lantern to Superman to Batman, yes, he is a large mega figure. He's going to stand over pretty much every single hero figure that you have, from McFarlane to NECA to Mattel. And just like Frankenstein, larger figure, taller than Batman, taller than all the other figures, fits in quite well. With all the recent mega figures, I would say for the most part, they've all been largely home runs. Again, I sympathize with those that say, well, we could use a little bit more articulation. And in some of the characters, I definitely do agree. But to reiterate, I think with the mega price of a mega figure, you got to throw something else in the box. Mongol needed extra hands, head portrait, something like that. If you're going to go less than articulation, we definitely need a little bit more something in the box, that's for sure. So that will wrap it up for my look at the brand new McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Mega Figures, Mongol and Frankenstein. And you've heard my thoughts. Now I'm curious to know yours. Comment below. Let me know. Let's talk everything Mega Figures. And I'm going to leave you guys with that. As always, drink some great coffee, eat some great food, but most importantly, remember, out of forthcoming Mega Figures, we'll just say, which character from the DC Universe should be the next Mega Figure? Go ahead and comment that down below. And when you do, let me know what you found. I'll talk to you guys soon. Adios.